What's up, guys? So, another week of Kitten Hacks. So, for this week, I did want to get to my request from Melanie. It kind of ended up in I didn't see it for a really long time because she had messaged me personally, which I don't know, Facebook Messenger just I got so flooded for a while, so when I finally caught up, I felt really bad, so I really wanted to get into today's topic because it took me so long to get to this request. So, so let's get into it. So, SEO stands for search engine optimization. So basically, what you're just trying to do is make sure that either Google, YouTube, whatever whatever search engine that you are using is picking up on you, because it turns out, so there's a couple of things. I want to start with the bad news before I get to the good news. I know that's a little reversed, but you'll see why when I get into the explanation. So, the bad news is the first thing you're going to see on Google and Ask Jeeves, DuckGo, if you use that, that is not a paid search. Google, it's hard to say with YouTube because they haven't announced like a lot of that kind of stuff, like what they do with their SEO kind of stuff. So it's hard to say, but for the most part, most engines you're going to use are going to have all of your paid stuff at the top. So I want to get into that really quick, just because it is really easy to see like what a paid ad is on Google and what's not. And for me personally, what I usually like to do is actually go for the organic search, which I'll get into that for a second, but I just want to show this to you guys. So you can see, here that the first three ads all have ad at the very left hand side. So it's pretty easy to see, and if you scroll down a little further, that is going to be your actual organic search right there, the very top one, which typically I usually go for, because there's a lot of great things that has happened with Google's SEO that it does go through and rate, that makes it kind of worth looking into the first organic site, because actually, so only 9% of sites are actually even viewed. So a lot of sites are pretty much zombie pages, essentially. And so I'll get into that a little bit later, but that means that even just a little bit of SEO work goes a long way, because a lot of people don't bother to do it. And so obviously there's a couple things. The good part about what Google's done with SEO is the fact that no longer can you put in a bunch of keywords, and I'm not saying it doesn't help, but and then just have like one paragraph thing that doesn't really answer your question with a bunch of keyword tags. Google doesn't rate that very high anymore, which is the good news. So a lot of the sites that you are seeing at the top of your Google search do have a very good content. So they do also need to have your keywords in the actual H1 header, as it's called, but basically your big title at the top, H1 header, if you have the keywords in that. Also, a good description on Google underneath that also looks great. And then also having short links. So the longer your link, not really helpful. It's just a short thing, but yeah. So then, so this is just to get to the other point here, is also backlinks. So backlinks is really just that someone linked to your site. It can be paid, it can be not paid. That's really up to you what you want to do with that. But it basically means you had a buddy who wrote another thing on another website who said, hey, this is a really good article for this. So backlinks is also a great thing to have for SEO rankings. So obviously that can kind of skew the number, but Google does obviously look into your actual content itself. So what they want you to do, and I don't know if I personally agree with this on my own brand level, is they do want you to be consistent. They want you to be very knowledgeable about one topic. So instead of having many different niches, they do want you to have, you can do different niches, but you can't do it on the same page, basically. So if you're going to write one article, for example, you have to have a lot of good detailed bullet points about one specific thing. So that is what's going to be highly rated, as well as using the actual keywords that are being searched. So a couple things. It's really easy, and most of the stuff that you can do is actually free, which is great. So you can actually, as I will show you right now, go and get your own Google Analytics profile and get a lot of information. And this works for video as well as if you have your own website. If it has a URL, it should probably work. I'm still in the testing phases of this because, obviously I'm a little late on this video, but I did want to get into the basics and kind of show you guys what it actually looks like. So, there. So you can actually see here, you can see I obviously have not made any money from doing any of this on YouTube at this point. I'm just doing it because I think more people should have access to this information. So, let's see. So, nope. Are we having a lag? I think we're having a lag. It's lagging! No! Okay, it's gonna take a minute. I'm sorry, it's lagging, I guess, right now. So. Because I literally just set this up today, and I I am not streaming this right now. I'm actually recording it for later just because it's going to be so much easier. Maybe I'll get into live later. Maybe I won't. I digress. Anyways, so you can actually see in the last 30 minutes how many users, new users, and also demographics. Hopefully this won't take as long to load. But as you can see, it's very, very detailed. Cool. I don't know. I was just clicking on stuff. I don't know. So then we're gonna get into behavior, and then I think I'm just going to do an overview on the last bunch of things really quick, so we're not waiting for the loading. Okay, so you can see engaged sessions, accounts, users, last 3 minutes. And then it actually goes into what kinds of technology are actually watching you as well. So you can look at web, phones, etc., etc. So that is pretty much so that is pretty much Google Analytics for you. And so the other thing you can look at and is Google Trends. So Google Trends I didn't pull up because this is not a new one for me. It's kind of interesting to look at sometimes. Just to see what's going on in the world, but honestly, I don't use it too much. It's interesting, but I just find that most of the stuff that comes up here, Taylor Swift, Kim Kardashian, you know what, it doesn't, I mean, maybe the coronavirus, but you know what, a lot of this stuff doesn't really give me any great trending. There we go. I'm like, this is not the information. So you have to actually go into daily search trends. So most of this stuff you'll find, you have to kind of be somewhere, you know, in the know with this stuff, or a reporter or something. So I don't feel like it's really that applicable to SEO and anything that you're personally trying to do. I do think that, however, it's gonna be like a lot of the stuff that is you find in your personal niche. You can look on forums online. Maybe you're knowledgeable enough already that you know what kind of things people are looking to see because you've just been in it long enough. So you kind of look at that. But I think the other thing that I do want to get into is a really good way to just look up what is going on is actually just to go to Google itself. So say you wanted to look up cats. And so you just wanted to see cat training, for example, just to see what's out there. So this is exactly all you're doing, and you could just see right here, people apparently really want to train their cats how to use the toilet. And then the second thing is training cats in the army. They want to know if it's possible. Or training cats training center. Okay, so maybe they're thinking of a training center for cats. And okay, so you get the idea. Basically, you're just gonna be looking at what comes up with terms and see what the first things, 4 or 5 things that are showing up when you type in anything. So that is how you kind of figure out keyword search. So you can kind of figure out, okay, this is pretty high ranking in keyword search, so I can kind of go off of that. I feel like that's a better way of looking at it than just trying to bum off of the daily, who knows what. So I did want to get into that. And the other thing that I wanted to get into that's also very important is no one likes giant walls of text. No one. No one. Break up that text into small, concise paragraphs as much as possible. So you'll notice on a lot of really good advertising sites, they have almost one-liners and then a really short paragraph and then maybe some bullet points and then, some small bits of text. They are not showing you the giant text wall that used to be the internet back when I started. But I think that's a great thing. I think that's a good thing. I think that's becoming more digestible to, I don't know, I think really everyone. I don't think anybody likes reading giant walls of text. So, yeah. And then the other thing is Google does take into account if you have like a domain with a blog or something, and several different like posts, if they see that there's not a lot of viewers on one of your posts, the whole site goes down as a general rule. So the more zombie pages that you have attached to your site, the more Google is just going to be like, you know what. So it's better to have quality over quantity. Again, which I agree with. That's great. So overall, obviously, unless you're going to pay Google. So I looked into Google Keywords, which planner, which forces you to go and create your own ad campaign to go to the keyword planner. And I was like, you know what, $4 a day. That was their cheapest option. It was like anywhere between $6 to $10 a day, generally. But I was just kind of like, I, I, I don't know. I don't agree with it. It bothers me. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to pay $4 for this. Nah. So if you want to get up the top, you can pay your way to the top. But I would rather say that, you know what, the majority of websites out there are, you know what, not even getting viewed and just doing a little bit of SEO work. Seems pretty worth it. That may come not to be the case at some point where it's completely irrelevant, but from what I can tell, it's still pretty relevant and worth learning. So anyways, I just wanted to do like a brief overview with this because even as I was researching it, I was like, there's so much. Like, there's so many tools, so many different things. Like, hold up. I got into a really big project here that I didn't know. So it wasn't just like one program, Google Analytics, it was like 4 or 5, and I was like, okay, we're just gonna try them a little bit and see where we go, and that's where I got with it. For the most part, a lot of this stuff you have to actually have a specific website. There is a specific plugin for WordPress if you want to do it that way, but it's all about specifics. So I really wanted to just give you guys a really basic intro to organic search, because that's mainly the point of SEO, is to get some organic search and not just pay your way to the top. Backlinks, again, also still definitely relevant to the case, but you can weigh that for yourself. That's our general overview for the week, and I'll see you guys next week. So next week I'm going to do kind of, if you're in the Kitten Hacks group already, which, by the way, is where I will take my requests if anybody has any. Starting to get a little up there with the requests, so if you have any requests there, for right now I'm going to try to get YouTube comments, so we'll see where we go with that, but for right now, it's all up to you guys, and I'm just going to be throwing in videos that the group, Kitten Hacks, might have already seen that I think is good for YouTube every now and again. So next week is going to be a rehash video for those of you who've been here for a little bit, but I think it's good. I think it's a good topic. So I'll see you guys next week.